If we want to talk about terribly designed Pokemon and just wasted potential, Mewtwo is definitely topping this list. Mewtwo is such a iconic and cool Pokemon that really made a lot of players come back to the game, and also probably a lot of new players start with Pokemon Unite, because during this time, Unite was, at least when it came to viewership, really exploding. And now this Pokemon, you can see at this pick rate, no one cares about Mewtwo anymore. Literally not a single soul. They turned this very cool, iconic Pokemon that everyone was super excited about into just this auto attack bot that really just has nothing for it. It's just so boring, yet even though Mewtwo's are still quite decent, no one wants to play them because the entire kit is just one of the worst things in the entire game when it comes to enjoyment. There's even people prefer playing Cinderace over Mewtwo just because Cinderace actually feels fun, you know, or even Razor Leaf Decidueye feels more satisfying as a basic attack Pokemon than Mewtwo does. And that is just quite sad. So they really missed the mark on this one. Mewtwo should have been just something that is very strong, casting very strong abilities. Instead, we pretty much don't have a single skill shot in the entire kit. I think the only thing that really gets this feeling of Mewtwo in is the Unite move. Like, the Unite move is super cool. I'm a big fan of it. Of course, it's very strong as well. Maybe a bit too strong, but the Unite move is such a cool thing. That's exactly what I wanted from Mewtwo. But the rest of the kit, we have a teleport. Yeah, okay, cool. We're teleporting around. We have a shield. Then we have point and click abilities that just do a tiny bit. I mean, Side Strike, I guess, is kind of cool. I'm a fan of it. But in the end, it's also just a point and click ability that is quite insane. And really nothing in particular. Also, the biggest issue is they tried to make this Mega Evolution cool, right? Like, Mewtwo has this Mega Evolution feature, which is very cool. I like that we have some Mega Evolution stuff in Unite. But at the same time, it's just such a bad trait because Mewtwo without its Mega Evolution just feels absolutely pathetic. It just feels pathetic. If you're not Mega Evolved, right, it is so bad. It really doesn't feel good. You don't feel powerful at all. You just throw out basic attacks that almost do no damage. Farming white Pokemon is an absolute struggle. That's why also I can't really recommend Central Area Mewtwo. Why? Because you just can't farm. It takes so long to clear jungle camps, it's actually ridiculous. He really just doesn't do any damage outside of its Mega Evolution. But of course, the Mega Evolution is very cool and is one of the, you know, coolest things they've added to this game, but also it was such a huge balancing issue. And we also remember how Mewtwo, how broken it was on release, right? It didn't just not be played now, it also kind of made the game unplayable for quite a while when Mewtwo came out. First it was X, then Y, which I think is also another disaster I want to talk about in a second. That they split the license, or, you know, the kind of thing that it just makes no sense. But yeah, when Mewtwo came out, we all know Mewtwo Y was the best ever released Pokemon, and Mewtwo X in the top 3 as well, with Zacian together. So Mewtwo, and Zacian were the 3 most OP Pokemon. So we had to suffer through 2 newly released Pokemon that are pretty much the same and just equally as broken for 2 and 3 months that just got so much of the player base also just gone again because they didn't really fix anything about Mewtwo, right? It took them so long to make this Pokemon not be overpowered to just now be completely forgotten. And yeah, then we have the license issue. So they released Mewtwo as 2 separate Pokemon, which I feel like makes no sense because they're too similar. Side Strike is the same ability, Future Sight almost, except it pushes into the other direction. Teleport, pretty much the same, except Y has 2 teleports. And then we have X that has 1 teleport and recover. One of them heals from taking damage, and the other one heals from doing basic attacks. So pretty much the same Pokemon, except one is ranged and one is melee. So why do we have 2 licenses? I mean, of course they wanted to double sell Mewtwo, but why couldn't they just make it at least much more different? I feel like the way it's currently, it should just be, once you get to level 5, you choose an ability, just like Scyther, Scizor, just like Urshifu, that will either make you X or Y, or that gives you the opportunity to either go into the X or the Y evolution and then make it much more sense, right? It's also because, so we have 2 licenses for Mewtwo, but at the same time, you can't pick them both in the same team, and you also can't pick and draft Mewtwo if the enemy already has Mewtwo. And if you ban one Mewtwo, the other X or Y can't even be picked, so if you just ban Mewtwo X, you also can't pick Mewtwo Y. So why do we still have 2 licenses? I really wish, one of the biggest wishes I have is that they rework Mewtwo into something actually cool, something exciting, get rid of this double license, or at least make them more unique. right? If they make them more unique from each other, sure, I can maybe understand 2 licenses. Of course, they want to double the money, maybe. Even though both Mewtwo's were free to obtain from playing, right? It's still, of course, you have to buy both, which means, I guess, more money. But at the same time, it's just such wasted potential of this absolutely cool, iconic Pokemon that everyone was very excited about. Again, if you don't think people were excited, this was the month of Mewtwo's releasing, was the highest viewership I ever had on Twitch and YouTube when it came to Pokemon Unite. By far. Like, it was crazy. For YouTube, specifically on my main channel, absolutely exploded when Mewtwo's came out or got announced as well. Like, people were so excited for Mewtwo. And yeah, and now it's just, yeah, I mean, again, they pretty much don't get picked. It's rare to even see Mewtwo in my games whatsoever. So a rework would be very nice, or something different they could do with Mewtwo. That would be very cool. I doubt it would ever happen, but yeah, they have to do something. Or just like make a held item that's like a X or Y Mega Stone, and you equip one and then you evolve into one of those, right? But this double license thing definitely has to go. Make it a bit more powerful on the abilities. I wouldn't mind if they nerf the Mega Evolution and just buff the base kit of Mewtwo a tiny bit, because it's just, oh man, it's just so unfun to play. Really is. Like, I'm struggling to clear indie. It takes so long compared to other Pokemon, and it just really doesn't feel like I'm Mewtwo, I'm powerful, except for its Mega Evolution, which is also sometimes not even that easy to get. They could have also just made it so once you Unite move your Mega Evolve, or something different, right? But you can only build it up by basic attacking enemy Pokemon, which on the X version can also be quite difficult. Sometimes on the X version you can't even Mega Evolve, because enemies have either too much range, too much CC, and then you kind of just, you're just a stun bot. You kind of like a Voltec a Pikachu that just stuns occasionally, and that's pretty much it. I mean, again, its Unite move is really hitting the mark, but the rest just isn't. I feel like it's just one of the biggest tragedies we have in Unite is currently Mewtwo, or was Mewtwo. First it ruined the game, right, for like 2-3 months when it came to how overpowered it was, into ending up just completely forgotten by the entire player base. No one cares a single bit about playing Mewtwo, neither do I. I just played it here one time to just see how it currently is in the meta. And I mean, it's still quite fine, right? You can definitely play it. But it's just nothing exciting, nothing that's me like, yeah, I really want to play Mewtwo Y right now. I've never felt like it. I was like, I just play Mewtwo Y because I was like, yeah, just play it one time, see how it currently holds up. But I think it's the one Mewtwo game I played in like the last 2 months. I played like 1 or 2 X games with XP share again. Once, you know, the Pokemon was available again and ranked. Because, I mean, the promise as well, all the Mewtwo's are still, I think people also don't want to play them because playing EX Pokemon just has a bad taste to them. With all what the EX Pokemon did over the last 1.5 years, people just don't want to play them. Because they feel like they have such a bad, you know, after, I don't know how to say it. They just leave such a bad, like, opinion about these Pokemon from when they were so broken that now also no one just even wants to touch them at all. Because they're like, am I still abusing these Pokemon? Is it bad to play them? Am I like an unethical person for playing these? Let me know in the comments what you think about Mewtwo. Do you think it's one of the biggest disasters? Would you like to rework Mewtwo? And I will see you guys hopefully in my next video. Bye!